All right, today we're jumping into one of the most mind-bending chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. We're talking about the true nature of action, of duty, and a secret wisdom that's so incredibly ancient, everyone thought it was lost forever. So, let's go find it.
So, right out of the gate, the chapter hits you with this just incredible claim from Lord Krishna. He tells Arjuna, his student, hey, this knowledge I'm about to give you, I taught it to the sun. I mean, think about that. Not to some wise sage, not to a king, but to the sun, the source of all life in our world. Right away, you know we're not just talking about regular philosophy here. This is something cosmic, something truly timeless.
And you see, this wisdom has this epic family tree, right? It goes from the sun god to Manu, who's basically the father of all humanity, and then it gets passed down through this whole line of enlightened kings. But you know how things go. Krishna explains that over just a massive stretch of time, the secret got lost. It just kind of faded away. Nobody remembered it anymore until now, right here in the middle of this battlefield. Okay, so section 4, the problem of a divine teacher. And this really gets at Arjuna's very logical doubt. Because, this whole epic origin story, it creates a really human, really relatable problem for Arjuna. It's a question of simple logic, one that you or I would probably ask too.
So Arjuna, being the practical guy that he is, well, he's totally confused. He's basically like, whoa, hold on a second, Krishna. You're my cousin, you're my friend. I've known you forever. You were born just a little while ago, but the sun's been up there since the dawn of time. So how in the world am I supposed to believe that you taught it? It's such a great, down-to-earth question, right?
And Krishna's reply just completely blows the doors off our normal way of thinking about time and who we are. He says, look, you and I, we have been through so many births. The difference is, I remember all of them. You don't. And that's the key. As this divine being, Krishna remembers every single life. But Arjuna, just like you and me, he's forgotten. And right there, it becomes crystal clear that Krishna isn't just a person. He's something eternal that's just wearing a human form for a little while.
All right, next up, the purpose of incarnation, which really gets into why a divine being appears on Earth. I mean, this raises the huge question, right? If Krishna is this eternal, all-powerful being, what's he doing here? On a chariot in the middle of a war? Well, the Gita gives us a very specific and very powerful reason.
So, Krishna lays it out. He says he shows up time and time again, age after age, basically to hit the reset button and restore balance. Whenever that cosmic order, what's called dharma, starts to fall apart and unrighteousness or adharma is on the rise, that's when he appears. He's there to protect the good people, to deal with the wicked, and to get dharma back on track. You can really think of it like a divine course correction for the whole universe.
So, with that whole cosmic stage set, let's get into the main event, the secret of selfless action. This is all about how to act without getting trapped by your actions. Krishna is about to get to the absolute heart of that lost wisdom. He's going to teach Arjuna how to do his duty, and it's a terrible duty, fighting a war, without getting all tangled up in the karmic consequences.
And Krishna starts by saying, look, this isn't easy. What is action and what is inaction? He says even the wisest of the wise get confused about this stuff. So he's basically warning us that the path we're about to explore is really deep, and it's subtle. You got to pay attention. Okay, so let's break these terms down. Krishna gives us 3 main ideas. First, you've got karma, which here means right action, the stuff you're supposed to do according to scripture and nature. Then there's vikarma, which is the opposite, forbidden action. And finally, akarma, which is just inaction, not doing anything at all. But here's the thing, the real secret, the real magic, is in seeing how these 3 are all woven together. It's way more complicated than it looks on the surface.
And this leads to one of the most famous and maybe confusing lines in the whole Gita. Krishna says, he who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is wise among men. So, what does that even mean, right? Well, think about it like this. A truly wise person sees the quiet center inside of a flurry of activity. Picture a surgeon performing a life-or-death operation. They're doing so much, but inside they're perfectly calm and focused. That's inaction in action. On the flip side, someone could be sitting totally still meditating, but their mind is just racing with anger and plans. That's action in inaction. So the big takeaway here is, it's not what you're doing on the outside that matters most. It's your state of mind on the inside.
So, the big question is, how do you even get to that state of calm, unattached action? Well, that brings us to our next section. Knowledge burns all karma. This is the ultimate tool for liberation. Krishna reveals the one key that makes all this possible, and it's knowledge. And we're not talking about just reading books here. We're talking about a deep, true inner wisdom.
And he does this by expanding the whole idea of what sacrifice or yajna really means. He explains that it's not just, some ancient fire ritual. No, any focused discipline can be a sacrifice. So things like dravya yajna, which is giving away wealth, like charity, or tapa yajna, which is sacrifice through self-discipline and austerity. There's also yoga yajna, using yoga practices. And then there's jnana yajna, the sacrifice made through study and self-reflection. All of these are valid paths, but Krishna says one of them is way, way above the rest.
And here's why that one is superior. Let's compare these two forms of sacrifice. On one hand, you have the sacrifice of material things. Giving to charity, donating your possessions. That's great. It's action-based, and it definitely purifies your conduct. But on the other hand, you have the sacrifice of knowledge, seeking wisdom, sharing it. This is insight-based, and here's the crucial difference. It doesn't just clean up your actions, it purifies you, the person doing the acting. It literally changes you from the inside out.
And to really drive this point home, Krishna uses one of the most powerful metaphors you'll find anywhere to explain just how completely this real, true knowledge can purify everything. He says, there's one power that can purify all actions, completely.
He says, just as blazing fire reduces wood to ashes, so does the fire of knowledge burn all actions to ashes. Wow, just think about that image. A fire doesn't just change the wood, it completely consumes it, right? There's nothing left but ash. In the same way, the fire of true self-knowledge is said to burn away every bit of karmic baggage from all your past actions. The good, the bad, all of it. It frees you because you finally realize that your true self, well, it was never the one doing anything in the first place.
Okay, so this all builds to a really powerful conclusion, bringing us to our final section, from doubt to duty, Krishna's final command. After all this incredible, high-level philosophy, Krishna brings it all right back down to earth, back to Arjuna's immediate crisis, standing right there on the battlefield. But first, he gives some practical advice. He says, look, if you want this knowledge, there are 3 essentials. Number 1, you need control of the senses. Number 2, you need dedication to your discipline, whatever it is. And number 3, you absolutely must have faith in the goal. And right after that comes a really stark warning. He says, but the ignorant, the faithless, and the doubting perish. He makes it clear that for the soul lost in doubt, there's no happiness. Not in this world, not in the next, not anywhere. Doubt, he says, is the ultimate poison. It's what stops us dead in our tracks.
And that brings us to the final answer, the final instruction for Arjuna's paralyzing doubt. This is the one command that pulls all of this incredible wisdom together and gives Arjuna exactly what he needs to break free and finally do what he has to do.
Krishna tells him, with the sword of knowledge cut asunder this doubt born of ignorance in your heart, and arise, fight. This is it. This is the climax. He's telling Arjuna, take this wisdom I just gave you and use it like a sword. Cut out the doubt that's poisoning your heart. And once that inner enemy is gone, then, he says, you can stand up and do your duty. It's the ultimate answer, action, but action powered by wisdom.
And so, that really leaves us with a question for ourselves, doesn't it? Because the Gita isn't just some old story. It's meant to be a mirror. So the final thought is this. What doubt, born from your own ignorance, is holding you back from doing what you know you need to do?